Talking about deliveries, Kartik, there's a delivery company in India which took off, which, when the moment it hit the market, customers are extremely happy to use it, but things are not exactly all that well for Dunzo. That's the delivery company I'm talking about. Dunzo, quick commerce delivery company that, hit all markets. In fact, it hit north, south, east, west. Dunzo was able to cover huge parts of India with its quick commerce delivery market. But we've been getting news and news of layoffs and layoffs. There's more layoffs now, but the latest round of layoff news comes at a time when there's also reports that Google and Reliance might be looking to pump in more funds into Dunzo to save it.
That's right, Krishna. So I think you're right. We're talking about deliveries, and the quick commerce delivery app is actually now delivering pink slips to its employees.
Yeah.
At a time when it was doing cash on delivery and receiving pink notes in exchange, it's now actually delivering pink slips. And bad news, because this is actually going to be the third round of layoffs at Dunzo this calendar year. We've already seen 2 rounds of layoffs involving 400 employees from across the country. And now we don't know what size this layoff round is going to entail. But I think no surprises if the company is looking at reducing its costs of operation by 30 to 40%. We are talking about a couple of hundreds more to be laid off at least. Now, this also comes at a time, and we'll come to the fundraise, but it also comes at a time, when there is obviously pressure on the company to even pay salaries to existing employees. So for the month of June and July, salaries have yet not been paid. That's a story we have spoken about at great length in the past as well, and nothing has been resolved on that front. In fact, the company is now saying that the salaries for June and July will be paid along with the salaries of September, and we are already at end September, and until then even August salaries are unpaid. So it's going to be June and July salaries to be paid in September end, early October. August salaries and September salaries, there is absolutely no clarity on when those salaries are going to be paid. Now, for the people being laid off, the employees being laid off at Dunzo, the company is saying you're going to receive your full and final only in the month of Jan. So you have the option of either quitting right now and waiting for your full and final, or work for 2 months, which could be October and November, take your salary and no additional full and final. But one way or another, Jan is when these employees who get laid off are actually going to be paid their final dues. Now, this again, cost cutting, shoring up the P&L becomes important for a company which is cash strapped right now to be able to raise fresh funding. Now, Reliance Retail, like you rightly mentioned, along with Google, are the top 2 investors in Dunzo. Reliance Retail owns as much as 25.8% stake in the company.
Right.
Google has about 19% stake, and it seems that this new fresh fundraise is going to involve anything between $25 to $30 million, and that is going to be shared again in the same ratio between Reliance Retail, Google, and other investors in Dunzo.
Right. So, there is a ray of hope, so to speak, for Dunzo at this stage, but things not looking good at all, especially for the employees of Dunzo. Again, raising the same question about the business sense of quick commerce delivery, Kartik, isn't that? Does unit economics support the quick commerce delivery as a business segment per se? Those are the questions that are left to be answered on that front.
Absolutely, Krishna. And I think there are 2 schools of thought. They're equally split. There is one school of thought that says scale, 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 scale at any cost. And the other, the more traditional school of thought, says that, hey, unit economics. Every delivery should be profitable. Every item you sell should be profitable. And I think companies are trying to find what is their survival strategy between these 2 theories that exist. Now, investors will always want you to carpet bomb, land grab, increase your customer base, and not leave any stone unturned to be able to become the default choice for any consumer.
Right.
But I think when you look at the P&L, when you look at the audited statements, the picture is fairly clear that at some point, unit economics also need to shore up.
Oh, absolutely. At some point, unit economics need to show up. Here is my 2 cents on this, Kartik. Fact of the matter is that some of the greatest startups in this country, have grown simply because they scaled at the right pace, keeping in mind unit economics as well. My question here is that these quick commerce delivery startups, something like say Swiggy, Instamart, which sort of is one of the most famous quick commerce delivery segments. We don't know whether Swiggy, Instamart per se makes profits or not, but it gets cushioned because it's part of the Swiggy basket. Whereas companies like Dunzo and even Zepto, for that matter, they just standalone quick commerce delivery businesses and hence are more vulnerable.
That's true, Krishna. But add to that, I think, no denying that you will have in a larger organization, you will have other businesses to cushion your decline in one particular business against the rise in the other. But I think what is also important to note is that, when the tide is on an upswing, you have this possibility of easy money flowing in. And at that time, you don't worry about the cash burn. It's only when the tide goes down, you realize, hey, you're not getting easy money anymore. Days of easy money, free money are over, and you will have to show some sort of a profitability to keep the business afloat, because fresh funds are not coming in loss-making institutions.
Fresh funds are not coming in loss-making institution. There is so much talk of that quote-unquote funding winter, so to speak, that is continuing in Indian startups. We will be keeping our eyes on that piece of news for Dunzo and the entire quick commerce delivery segment and startups and funding per se right here on Business Plus, and get you the biggest stories on that front.